Greetings. It's been 8 months since I decided to leave software engineering and venture into watchmaking. And it's about 8 months until I formally switch into full-time watchmaker education, assuming I pass my WTI bench test, which is in less than 2 weeks. Last week I realized that I've gone into a new phase of my career switch, which is I no longer care at all about software engineering. Even though I expected this mental switch and it's healthy to leave behind the old to make room for the new, it still feels odd, and I wanted to share the details with you. I've been living and breathing Python, the programming language, for nearly 20 years. I learned Python back in version 2.3 and read David Beasley's Python Essential Reference cover to cover as my first book. In fact, that book was my Bible for about 4 years, and I carried it everywhere I went. I was interested about everything related to Python, the minutiae of how the interpreters worked, all of the packages and functions in the standard library, performance characteristics, the emerging and changing support for multi-threading and asynchronicity, issues with the GIL, idioms, smart coding practices, and really everything about it. Ditto for Django, and to a lesser extent, Fast API. Well, watchmaking is my future one way or another. I'll use Python for the next 6 or 7 months, and then I may never use it again. And so I find myself no longer having any interest or care about Python and its environment. I've removed myself from the Python Software Foundation mailing list and the LinkedIn Python groups. I've deleted every note in my Evernote account about Python, including software engineering and tech startups and tech team management. I used to anticipate and super enjoy PyCon US, which is the annual Python mega conference. I loved that conference, and I attended it with gusto. Now I couldn't care less about the next one. And I now ignore any Python and almost every software engineering article that pops into my news feeds. Now, 10 months ago, if you said I would be taking these steps and have this attitude, I would have dismissed you out of hand. I wouldn't have said, I don't think that'll happen, or that's possible, but I doubt it. I would have said, you're nuts, get lost. I have long disliked Slack, even hated it at times. Its UI and UX and search have been terrible since the day it was born. Slack is I'm working on something intensely, but sure, please interrupt me now, tool. And yes, I know I can silence Slack, exit out of it, etc. Those actions are band-aids and not solutions to Slack's effect on worker productivity. I still use Slack in one of my consulting jobs. Aside from that, what used to interrupt me daily, sometimes hourly, is now forgotten most of the day. Of all the changes, this one feels great more than odd. After my current consulting gig terminates, I'll probably never use Slack again. I had a library of software manuals and books at home. Some of them, like my college freshman calculus text, I kept around for sentimental reasons. Well, I've gotten rid of all of them, except for 3 books. The Mythical Man Month, my original copy, and a couple of books about Digital Equipment Corporation. I used to follow tech news sites daily. TechCrunch and GeekWire were mediocre information sources, but I gave them a skim every day or every other day. And back in the day, anontech.com was a must-follow. I would check in on 10 or so subreddits daily. That was before I deleted my Reddit account in protest over some actions that the company took with its information and its APIs. Well, no more tech sites. I have watch sites I follow, but no computer software or hardware sites. I still follow consumer news about iOS and iPhones and Mac and Mac OS, but that's more at the when's the next model coming out level. I've used Emacs since 1984, when Emacs and GCC were the only software projects in GNU. I fondly recall teaching myself Emacs using the Emacs info tree on a DEC System 2060 in Marlborough, Massachusetts. That's 41 years of using the same text editor. Well, I've deleted all my Emacs browser bookmarks and all my Emacs files in Evernote and all my Emacs notes stashed away. I probably won't use Emacs again after September. And even if I did, it would be for simple bare bones editing, like entering my personal information in an application form. And even that's a stretch because, TextEdit is good enough for that. All of the customizations and libraries I define, load, and tweak now, they'd be an unnecessary distraction in the future. So I'll jettison them after my current consulting gig is over. Come to think of it, I'll probably delete Emacs entirely from my laptop, and that's a wild thought. Anyone who knows me would tell you that I am an Emacs zealot devotee, and this is a shocker, probably just as much as my walking away from Python. I do not like what LinkedIn has become, but it's still useful for those times when someone from my distant past wants to look me up. Even though I have a personal blog that shows up in search engine results, a lot of people think to search on LinkedIn first for old coworkers. Some of my LinkedIn connections were for purely networking reasons. I never worked with, nor met them, nor communicated with them much, but maybe I met them once at a conference, so why not connect? And then there are the 10 some odd headhunters that I used in my 2024 job search. In some cases, I went on interviews that they set up for me. I won't need them anymore because I won't be in software engineering and looking for software jobs. And there's no point in my being a connection for them because I won't be any economic use for them unless they start filling watchmaker jobs or looking for watchmakers looking for jobs. So I've removed those connections and I've changed my LinkedIn headline. Back in the day, I had a 5K external display positioned just so alongside my laptop's display. Everything had to be just right for my maximum productivity. Now, in what will probably be my last software work ever, I just have a laptop and a keyboard, and it's good enough. To sum up, my no longer identifying with software engineering is a milestone in my career switch. When you switch careers, you'll have your own milestones as you make progress on leaving the old occupation behind. And for you, there will come a day when you sit up and realize, wow, I just don't care at all about the old occupation anymore, like at all. And it will feel a little odd to you, but it's a super healthy thing. Embrace it. That's all I have for today. Remember that age is just a number. Till next time, take care.